Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Depressed on the Coaching, Culture, and Athletics Radio Broadcast Network, an affiliate of Dog Pound Radio. And basically, I'm driving up today to move some stuff back for my daughter as she is finishing her junior year in college, which is, it's crazy to even think that my youngest, my baby, is going to be graduating in a year or so. But, as I'm contemplating, as I'm driving up, I'm looking at some things the past week that have really hit home. And, obviously, the show's titled Depressed, but there are a lot of good things that are taking place over the course of the last week. But here's something, to keep in mind, especially as we hit, we're through May as teachers. This is a pretty stressful and anxiety-ridden portion of our year. But at the end of the day, what we have to do is we have to look at ourselves in the mirror again, and we have to contemplate that question, whether or not we're getting better each and every day. And I believe that I am, personally, but it's taken a lot of work. Now, here's something that's really striking is, you go into a Dollar General, a Casey's, in the classroom, on social media, and people are frankly very rude with each other, and that's really kind of bothering me. How do we become nicer? I mean, what happened that all of a sudden, in the grand scheme of things, are we just blatantly mean? Now, what I mean by this is that, 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was a much different world. And we don't live in that world anymore. But what takes place is that it appears, and it's not just the generation going through school, man. We're talking about Gen Xers. We're talking about Gen Z, Gen Boom, whatever. But what is taking place is that we don't reach out and foster truthful, meaning, engaging conversations without getting upset, without teasing, and we don't put ourselves in other people's shoes, which, by the way, is a book that one of my great friends from way back when in high school, Rob Vandermark, wrote a book called In Your Shoes, and it's that philosophy that we need to start thinking about other people around us, not just ourselves. But we've hit a road. I don't even know the word, to be honest, but we've hit something in our culture where we don't do that at all. I mean, how many of you out there can say that you honestly know your neighbors, their first and last names, for example, or that you have open, engaging conversations without getting upset, whether it be political, whether it be religious, whether it be anything for that matter. We have to do better, folks, and this is something that truthfully bothers me as a person. I don't know how we're going to do it, but at the end of the day, we have to be nicer to each other. We have to put ourselves in other people's shoes. We can't just randomly make a conversation, even if it's teasing, even if you have no malice intent. We have to be nicer. We have to think about what we're saying out there. Those that know me know that I have a deep conviction, and my religious conviction obviously is in Jesus Christ. But there are a lot of even Christians out there, folks, that judge, that tease. It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. But as you get into May and as you get into the summer months, try hard to put yourself in other people's shoes. It's something that I've had to work on for 50 years of existence, even with my kids. And it's one of those things where we, as parents, we often say, well, that wouldn't have happened when I was a kid, that kind of behavior. Again, we're raising our next generation in a world that no longer exists. And we have to, foster through it. We have to be able to have meaningful conversations. It doesn't mean to compromise everything in the world. It appears in our society that oftentimes it seems like we can't be who we are. However, we don't have to be complacent in changing. Your convictions are who you are. But I think we have to do a better job of following those principles and to be a good person, to love your neighbor, to be able to help others in need, to quit judging others, to worry, and again, I'm not saying only worry about yourself, obviously not, because that's where we've hit in society, is we are so worried and wrapped up in the tunnel vision of who we are, that we're failing to see what's in front of us, which is a crisis in America. We have to treat each other better. Put yourself in the shoes of others. Anyway, if you like my podcast, Depressed, you might like our other podcasts, Depth the Show, and Dog Pound Radio, which is our live affiliate that goes online Sunday nights. This broadcast was brought to you by the new book, The Life of an Overthinker, written by yours truly, Charles Banks. It's a great book. It contemplates the deep meaning behind trying to change for the better. Hope everyone has an amazing weekend. God bless.